Okay, so this is Ms. Fulmer. This is for our student use in Google Classroom. So whenever you're setting up your Google Classroom, make sure that you have all your codes from all your teachers. So if you go around to the class and you are in class and you're adding the code, for instance, this is my lifespan development, that's the code they would see. So I'm going to, on my end, make you a new practice course. So for the teachers, we would create a class, and this is going to not be there when you get here. I'm going to delete it so you cannot add this class. We're going to call it Practice 2021. So when you log in, I'm going to use my daughter's account for this just because I'm a teacher and I have access to her account as well. Let me log into her. So you will get into your Google Classroom. So make sure you logged into your school account. It will not work if you have a Gmail or some other outside account. It's not going to work. It has to be our @student.washtasd.org. It has to be our school email, period. That's it. Won't work if it's not. So if you are the student, you're going to log in, go to Google Classroom. And for her, my daughter, it's already on her icons right here. If you need to type it into your bar up here at the top, you can do that. Google Classroom, and then Google Classroom. I am not logged in as her. And get logged in as her. Okay, so here's her Google Classroom. She's going to go to join a class and ask for the code from the teacher. If this is the way it's done, your teacher can invite you. I'm going to show you that way as well. So to join the class, your teacher should already have the class up there. There's going to be a code. So I just made a course and mine's going to be Practice 2021. Okay, so I'm going to use NDM63DX as my course code for my student. There it is. And you're going to join. All right, so now she's into my class. So this is Tinley's account. She's into my class. Whenever I minimize this and get into my students, I should see her in my class. So this is where we see you and know who's in the class. Here we can go into email the guardians, invite guardians, or remove. So if you want your parent, which is up to your parents anyway, we can add that on here. And I'm going to put my personal email as her parent to it, for instance, and this would send me emails and updates of her assignments. So this is for our Ouachita students, and whoever else wants to use it, you're welcome to use it. This is kind of how we're doing ours. If your student invites you into the class, which is fine, totally fine, you would have an invite on your classes right here. So I'm going to go back in my teacher account and make a secondary different class. I'm going to create a new class and then show you what that looks like from a different teacher who might do it a different way. So this is going to be the new 2021. This might be a different subject or a different teacher or whatever, and they might not put the code on the board, but they might actually invite you individually into their class. So as a teacher, I'm going to invite Tinley into my class, and so on her end of it, she would see, let me refresh it, should see an invite. There it is, to join or decline. So she's going to join that class, and now she has two separate classes, two different things. Either way is fine. You still get into the class. You still have access to the class. And on our teacher side of it, we would set up the classwork, the stream. For all students, we're going to use classwork as our way to turn in work. Do not turn anything in on your stream. You should not be allowed to type on the stream. We have set them up where it does not allow students to respond and type. Now, if that's something the individual teacher has permission to do or the administrator has granted access for, that's fine. But for me and my class, anyway, at the high school, we're not using the stream at all. You're only strictly going to use your classwork because that's where you're going to have the turn-in option, and that's where I'm going to see and be able to grade your work and turn your work back to you to put it into the grade book. So for my students specifically, do not use your stream at all. here you would be able to see your work if there was work assigned, which I have not assigned her yet, but if you did, it would be there. And then also, if you need to email your teacher, it's going to be under your people. Sometimes we have administrators that will join our class because they also keep up with students and student work. So very likely you're probably going to see Mr. Knadel, Dr. Kazai, or you're going to see our, upper administration on here because they're going to be viewing your work as well. So whenever you say, well, I turned it in, they don't even have to call or contact me. They can go in on their phones and look at your work and see what you turned in, or if you didn't turn it in, and then what time you turned it in, and all the work shows up and what's done. So I'm going to use that as the next example. Is when, let me see which one we have. When we get to our assignments, you're going to have topics for your classwork. So here's my topics. Each week will be a topic, and then under each week, it doesn't show up, but you would have August 17th, August 18th, 19th, 20th, which we have now been pushed back, so I guess I can delete that. And right now the governor's saying we're going to start the 24th. So you would have welcome to school. I think it says August 24th, welcome to school. It has my instructions on here, and the 25th, 26th, 27th, 28th. So all your weekly coursework is going to be under each topic right here in blue. And that way you will know what's due and what's not due. It's not going to show up on mine until I've scheduled it to show up on your end. So you're not going to be able to work the whole entire year and just be done with everything. It's going to go week by week or day by day. So just know that in advance that's just how it's going to be. So, but again, you will see your teacher, and then I'll be able to access grades and stuff over here. And we're going to set up everything in Google for work. Grades will be viewed on your Hack account, not Google Classroom. Just because something's in Google Classroom and it might not be graded, it's probably graded in Hack. You're just not checking in the right spot. So make sure you and your parents know to check Hack first. Don't worry about Google Classroom grades. A lot of my assignments I've already put in here that are scheduled to show up on the first day of school, second day of school throughout the year are going to say ungraded, and it's just going to be the assignment because I'm putting the grade itself in your Hack account into the school system. I'm not using Google Classroom as my grade book at all. Some teachers do, just kind of to have a secondary backup kind of plan. I'm not. I don't do that. All your work is stored in here anyway, so if I need it, I can always go back to get it, but I grade it on here as I'm putting it into my school computer, so it goes in at the same time anyway. I'm not going to do it twice. That's just me. But anyway, on your phones, if you download Google Classroom app and you want to go into your calendars, you can go in on your phone, on your device, not a laptop, whatever, but your device. Go into your settings, and there's a place down in your settings that will let you sync your calendar so your assignments will show up on your calendar, on your phone, and your parents' phone if you want them to have that reminder as well of what assignments are due. You can go into your settings on your phone, sync it to your school account, and then it'll show up on your Google Calendar, which there's nothing to show up here, but if we had assignments, they would show up in a Google Calendar, and it would also sync to your phone, so you get an alert whenever something is due or something's coming up. So that's kind of nice to have as a way to make sure you get all your assignments. If you're worried about that, and you're on your computers, go to view work, and your list with a check, if it's done, it has a check mark. If it's not done, it will not have a check mark, and it says due. Your assignments will show up on here as being due or being completed. So it gives you one big long list, so you don't have to go week by week and see everything. It's already going to be titled on there for you. And I will show you what that looks like here. I'm going to make and create a fake assignment anyway. So, week 1 work. I don't know. Write a paper about you. I'm just going to make that up. Here's how I do mine. Do mine ungraded. It doesn't have a topic. It would have the date. It's going to be due on, let's see, if we start the 24th, I'll have it due the 28th, for instance. Now with Google Classroom students, we can check for plagiarism. So if you're copying and pasting, you make sure, and this is a big thing for me, especially at high school, that you're not plagiarizing your work, that you go in, you change it. It has to be original. If so, Google now has the option that we can check for plagiarism. So it's getting kicked back with a big 0 on it. If it's my work and you turn it in and your stuff is not cited at the bottom, you don't have a works cited or reference page of where you got your work, and that's not just the email address, that's the author, we're going to go through all that, the book it came out of, or wherever you get your stuff from with it. If it's a website, you put that on there as well, and who wrote it and everything, when it was published, or else it's getting kicked back with a big fat zero if you are my student. So that is how I do my stuff. You're not going to steal people's work. Anyway, for teachers, we schedule. If you want to schedule stuff, here's where you would schedule it. I'm going to go ahead and assign it so students can see. So if you're the student, here's week 1 work. So here's my student account, and I'm going to refresh this, go to my classwork. Here is week 1 work. So you would see, write a paper about you. Okay, I'm going to do that. Add or create a document right here. It's going to be in a Google Doc. Whenever you attach it, which it has to be in this assignment right here, or else it's just a Google Doc floating up in the cloud somewhere that I can't see because it's not attached to it. It doesn't attach to that assignment. I can't grade it. Okay. So here's my document, and I'm going to write about me. So this is Tinley, and I am 7. So for a 2nd grader, maybe that's enough, maybe not, I don't know. But Tinley's going to go ahead and turn this in. We're going to pretend that she is in the right account because my computer has a whole bunch of Google accounts on it. So she turned it in. Yes, I want to turn it in. Students can go back once it's turned in and say, oh, I forgot something. I forgot my name. I forgot the page number. I forgot the heading. I forgot the references. I forgot something. You can unsubmit it, fix it, and still turn it back in. That's fine. If you have a comment, go ahead and leave a comment on it. I prefer you to just email me. From the teacher point of view, what we would see anyway is the classwork, and somebody has turned it in. How about that? I would see it. I would grade it. I'm checking, and here's another thing for students, just so you know, whenever you do this and you're like, I spent 2 hours on it. Well, did you really? I don't know. So it was turned in here on the 10:37 p.m. We can see the history. Here's when it was assigned. Here's when it was turned in. If you work on it for 2 more minutes, it's going to show up on here. Everything that you do on that paper, it's going to show up. If you copy and paste and you have 3 pages done and it took you 2 minutes to do it, you didn't write that paper. I can tell that. So I can go back and see, let's say that you're on paragraph 2 on the word the. It's going to tell me what you did and what time you did it. So just know that we can see your work and how long it took you. So if it's something unreasonable, I'm kicking it back out because you didn't do that work, or whatever it may be. And if it was at 6 a.m. that morning before class, well, that's fine. You get it done, you get it done. But I'm just asking you to be responsible and do your work correctly and do it right. Tinley, let's say R7, don't know why I changed it to that, but let's say I wanted to change something and I put a note that says change. Whatever I want to tell you. So there's what it is. Need to change that. I don't like it, or something's wrong, or whatever. Go back, cite your work. Where did this come from? Fix your spelling, fix whatever. Then I would return it to you. I'm going to return it to Tinley. She's going to see that I've graded it. Here's her work. And still, I think you can go back in and resubmit it. You can still fix it. So whatever I told her to fix, she can still go in here, fix it, and then come back here and turn it back in. You can create and add an additional document to it if you want to. So she changed this. She's going to click resolved on my email. I'm going to see on my teacher email, wherever that is anyway, let me show you up here. I'm going to see that she resolved it and fixed it. So when I go to my Gmail at 10:40 p.m. at night, because that's when I have time to work, that she fixed her document, and it's going to tell me. And here's what it looks like. So we know when you fix it, we know when you do your work, we know what it was. And I pulled this up on my phone. It says it was changed or whatever. This is the one I did before. And I'm going to be able to see what was done. So, and we can share it. So if Mr. Canadal or administration, whoever's on it, parents want to see it, what you did and the time, they can see that as well too. So just be careful when you do your work. Do it honestly. Do it right. Do it, do good work. That's all we're asking, and be responsible about it. And that way you don't have to do it twice. So, okay, well, this is a teacher view again. It's ungraded. I have nothing to grade on here. Teachers can go back and download all the grades, put it in the grade book and stuff like that. I think that's about it. Just keep up with your steps, sync it to your phone so you don't miss your assignments. If you do have something late, it'll warn you about that as well. All right, that is the end of this video. You should have both ways to get your document on there. Sounds good. Close it on the stuff.